Good afternoon. Today I'm going to present a paper on SDGs, and my subtopic and theme is peace, justice, and strong institutions. And my topic is power of diversity, inclusion, and connection in achieving global development. First of all, let me check my mic if it is on. Yes. So I hope I'm audible. So let's start. Okay, so I have 10 minutes to speak, and my time starts now at 2:52 p.m. So I'm Twarita, and I'm PG Diploma in Journalism, having done economics honors from Dayal Singh College only. I came to know about this through a spiritual organization, Brahma Kumaris, via journalism, where there were speakers at UN Environment Program MGCY, and they told me to fill a form on Decade on Restoration 2030 agenda for SDGs. UNEP focused on environment, but as I got into later, I got to know about UNDP, UNFCCC's Youth Constituency, Youngo. I've been to many events since then. I want to share what I learned so that you all also can learn. So this form was filled in 2020 when the COVID wave was at height, and I filled the form till 2030 for Decade on Restoration, that is 10 years to achieve the SDGs. I've been to events, community events in Delhi, such as once I went to the Hindu college for a seminar where the topic was geopolitical volatility and way ahead in tumultuous times and climate change, conjecture of calamities, climate change, and economic downturns. So there, I I I got to learn many things which I want to tell so that you all also can participate in the discussion to see environment and lessen CO2. In one of the conference of parties, that is the COP, industries have to lessen production so that there is less CO2. But US, being a developed nation, wanted to focus on quality life. So since it wanted to focus on quality life and didn't want to compromise the GDP, so it backed out from mitigation of CO2 since that required to lessen the production. And in the COP, US backed out. So the China was already a trade country which used to export and import. So it had no effect in quality life and production. Like it was not making the life quality life via production, but it was doing it via trade. The consumption of goods was through trade. So there was a lot of political economic debates between China and Russia, that being trade countries and with each other. So there was this war of Ukraine also there. So, but US being a dominant power just sat there and watching all the global political things happening. And what about Bhopal gas tragedy was that I went for a march to Jantar Mantar, and it was about asking for funds to compensate the victims of gas leakage in an industry. And there, who were affected, their children were disabled because of the ladies getting problems. And the march was at Jantar Mantar. This tells about two things. One is industry, innovation, and infrastructure, that is SDG. And the other thing is about basically uh, good industry practices and the delegation, like when we are asking government for the funds they directly can't approach, right? So that's through the youth groups. So now I also went to Jankpura and took surveys in household, like how many segregate their waste, and attended a webinar on role of gender equality in clean and affordable energy, where women in villages burn chulas instead of electricity that produces more CO2 as chulas use oil. Global development should be development for all, and approach should be inclusive among many different economically, culturally, and socially, and community events are a way to achieve the local agenda, local for global. And global development should always be inclusive of everything. Like it should not exclude some group or some minority communities since it's for them only, right? So anything which is against exclusion is not counted in global development. So what are SDGs? There are specific goals which were taken by UN in 2015 and became prominent during COVID when the world was lagging behind in the wave of COVID. So it was taken in 2015. And what sustainability means is prolonged development without compromising needs of future generations. And it is an intersection of economy, society, and environment where all three go hand in hand and has to be achieved by 2030 and better and more rigid goals by 2050. There are 17 SDGs in total, as you can see in the screen. And the paper is a combination of two themes, that is theme 2, enhancing education, health and employment for sustainable development, SDG 3, that is good health and well-being, SDG 4, quality education, and SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, and theme 5, peace, justice and strong institutions, that is SDG 16, peace, justice and strong institutions, and partnerships for the goals, that is goal 17. So let's move ahead. So firstly, I would like to tell you that when talking about connection, diversity, inclusion, society is one dimension of SDG which shapes our nature. See, actually, what we feel love and belonging with when we are born, that shapes our nature. Whatever we find love and belonging with, we think that is right and that is to be done, that is programmed in our minds and that forms our nature. Our human nature is never selfish, but society has made us. And it's the social and cultural things which make the selfish culture inculcated in us, which makes us selfish natured, or might be someone has taught us to eat chicken, so that's why we are eating chicken and we think that is right. So it's never a human nature which is inborn. One school of thought says that. So exaggerating that school of thought, what they are saying, like, what's wrong with getting lost in a jungle? Is it not something that you have the environment, you have air, but yeah, you don't have a society there. We are born to live in a society. What's problem with missing a train? So we are born to live in society. When a views clash, it creates conflict and peace is hampered due to unmatching opinions. So, I mean, society gives us competition, aggression, etc. Suffering is when there comes different from society, such as missing a train. Okay. And then now let's go to cooperation and diversity, where everyone is different in this world. There are different societies in this world. So, all being different, we should include all. And basically, theme 2 is on investing in health, education, and employment for all. So that means health should be looked at with inclusive things such as digitization should be there, and access of health should be to all, and understanding and valuing people for which emotions form basic block, and investing in health education is investing in people rather than systems of control. So if you invest in systems of control, it's just that you are not investing in people. Development means investing in people. So investing in their health, giving access to them, investing in education so that they grow up as resourceful citizens, and also they grow up as the resourceful citizens, and also in society which is good for systems as well as own worth. If people get work, it provides an economic boost, and employment says that if people get work, it provides an economic boost as well as in terms of spending money on health, education for families, and economic status too. So we think this might create inequality because some having work and some didn't. But then all of the things like education, work, or combating poverty with economic status, all are connected because that is what should be inclusive. And for this, NGOs work to combat poor people's status and hunger and poverty. And MNCs provide money to NGOs of people only work. And once they're grown, they get work. So SDGs, all aspects are interconnected: health, education, and employment. And peace, justice, strong institutions is like when we say peace starts from within. So when peace starts from within, we should all it's all a chain. I mean, so now I'll pose a summary of budget 2023, keeping in mind society and environment. Consumption illusion boost is when higher taxes on rich is restriction on the consumption of goods. We say that rich should be taxed, but the FM finance minister's approach to this was not true, because rich are expected to be above 70 lakh rupees, but income is not equally distributed. So the per capita is not a right mark, since more income is out the lower edge, lower percentage. So we can say that top 1% should be taxed. In that case, the tax is progressive, it's not deflationary, or it's not hampering the growth or something. So obviously the more top 1% will obviously consume more, so they should be taxed instead of rich should be taxed, what finance minister said. So that is a social inclusion, like everyone's equality is a social cause. And FM's view of investing in capex, capital expenditures, seem to increase employment as workers work in production industry and boost consumption with production. But without social cause, this is not going to be the case. And for greenery and environment, when we say that, when he said that it spent 8 crores or 20 crores, so but costs have been leading to inequality, is not seeing blue economy, because costs haven't been looked at. So this is the Safai Sena, and where I worked, where I went for garbage and to ask how they segregate. Now I'll talk about health, employment, and education, and the role of spiritual SDGs 16 and 17 in global development. The technical working groups in energy are access to all, like all should get access to energy transition, inclusive fields such as social and economic factors, and all SDGs are seen. Data innovation and technicalities, financing and investing budget. Climate change is also greatly linked to energy, because once we burn energy, then CO2 is produced, and the industries also which produce CO2. So decentralizing healthcare in healthcare, and domestication of gadgets like BP machine, and for that awareness is necessary of the tools. Digitization and such as AI in health should be used wisely. Delegation, like from big labs to doctors to clinics to nurses, so that everyone gets access. Education is something like socio-economic disparity should not hamper education. All blacks should be included. Money should not replace skills, because if money replaces skills, then all the talent which is there in our country goes waste. So there is a SC/ST quota which is very good. And decent work environment obviously provides economic boost, as said in start. And for this, the organizations which work are UN, like the, if we say United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, like about the Bhopal gas tragedy. So UNFCCC will work with UN, UNESCO will work with nice scientific and cultural things, such as society is not hampered with wrong scientific things, and innovation industry and all is also seen by UNESCO, and educational also, that everyone gets right education and everything in every field, and social also. So UNDP is basically people's development, United Nations development program, that help education and that. And your FCCC is specially designed towards climate change. So it's all about local agenda, local for global. And yeah, so all we can say is that global development in all sectors, inclusion with different communities like socio-economic stratas and individuals should be there. No one should be left behind, either in access or in raising their voice for global development, because it is for them only. Globe is made of them, especially those people who require development are to be counted in development. Thank you.